Hello guys, welcome on this new Coach Live Academy Lag Guide. I'm Corentin Guinness and today we are with the M4 around Long Beach for the third week of the iRacing series with the LMP3 and the GT4. As usual, first we're gonna go with the outlap and then I'm gonna go into more details about the very technical track and with the M4. So yep, let's get started. Okay guys, here we go with the M4 GT4 around Long Beach. Here is the start finish line, straight, and then we are with the T1. So as a racing line reference, I'm just using the white line, which is just between the pit exit blue line and the red line. So what I'm doing basically for this one is that I'm putting like almost half of the car on the line. So basically this is pretty much, it defines pretty much the racing line, because if you go too wide, basically you will get the slowdown and the off track as well. So basically for this one, I'm just gonna use the like, as you can see, it goes a bit straight, like with the white line at some point. So this is pretty much what I'm looking for the braking reference. So I'm gonna brake maybe like 10 meters before that. So just for this one, I'm braking kind of early because I don't want to overshoot the corner, which is getting pretty tight on the exit, I would say, with the tire wall. So I need to think about my exit. I also need to think about the fact that it's pretty easy to get into the ABS with the GT4. So I prefer to brake a tiny bit earlier, but I have a way better exit and being much more comfortable with the entry to find the rotation on the brakes. So basically on the brakes, dropping to third gear, and then I'm just gonna try to find the rotation. As you can see, as soon as I'm steering the left to make the corner, I'm just releasing the brakes. And then just trying to avoid a bit the inside curb, just not going fully through it, because otherwise it makes the car bounce and you will surely end into in the tire wall. So as you can see, once I'm on the apex, just going full power. And as you can see, I can almost go full power when I'm off the corner, because I just managed to have the nice momentum on the entry, which helps me then to have a very nice exit. So then we approach the roundabout. So basically just putting the car straight. And then I guess, like, as soon as I'm getting close to the two white lines, like you have the yellow line on the left, on the middle of the track, and then you have two white line, I'm gonna maybe brake like 5 meters before them, and just try to get as close as I can from this wall, so then it gives me the best angle to approach the roundabout. And then on the brakes, just releasing the brakes as soon as I'm steering to the right side to find the rotation. And then I'm not sure I'm doing it on this lap, but I may use a bit of the roundabout to find the rotation. Yeah, I'm just using a bit of it. Like, actually using this, I mean, it's not a curbing, but like it's the edge of the roundabouts. Like, actually it helps you to find the rotation a bit. Like when you are on the power, as you can see, as soon as I'm hitting the edge, I'm just going on power, because I know that it's gonna help me to find the rotation on the exit. And it's important because, as you can see, I mean, you cannot really see that with this cockpit camera, but if I go to maybe for chase and then go a bit lower on the camera, just moving to the left, as you can see, it's getting really tight on the exit of the roundabout. Like, just right there. It doesn't seem like it's really tight, but actually when you are in the car and you are close of the exit of the roundabout, it gets really tight. That's why it's really important to really work on the in the middle of the roundabout and using the edge on power to find the rotation and then have a good exit without getting compromised with the end of the like the edge of the wall, which is the end of the roundabout, or at least part of the racetrack. So then I'm gonna go back into the cockpit of the car. So using the edge of the roundabout and then on power trying to find the rotation. Then as you can see, I stay with second gear, and as you can see, it comes really close of you when you're exiting the roundabout. So that's why it's important to do what I said before. And then full power on the exit, then need to move quickly to the left side because the next corner is getting really close. And then basically I think I'm braking and turning close to the, it's like the NTT sponsor, like on the wall on the left side. When the sponsor starts, you can start to brake and turn in. So on the brakes, trying to find the rotation, not using too much curbs, pretty much like T1. You don't want to use too much curbs. Even if you use curb on this one, it's okay because it's not like T1 where it gets really tight on the exit with the tire wall. For this one, you have a bit more margin because it gets a bit wider, even if wide is a huge word for this track, but it gets a bit wider, so it's a bit more like you have a bit more chance to use the curb without having issues on the exit. So using a tiny bit of curbing and then just trying to make like being really close with the wall. So once again, on the brakes, trying to find the rotation, and then as soon as I'm making it to the apex, full power. And like I said, like it's pretty much like T1. Do not carry too much speed on the entry because at the end you will be compromised for the exit. So it's really important with the GT4 to respect that thing, which is flowing fast out, pretty much. Really working on the power and the brakes on the entry and on the exit. So then for this one, getting really close to the wall. And then for this one, I think I'm using the sponsors when I'm driving, but it seems like when you look at the arrows on the road, you can pretty much use that as a reference. So once it disappears under the bonnet, pretty much, or if it's close to the bonnet, you can start to apply the brakes. I think I'm used to brake a bit earlier on this track. Maybe you can brake a bit later and really definitely like having that arrow under the bonnet when you brake. But I prefer to brake a bit earlier, like that way, because then I can really work on my exit. And with the M4 as well, it's really important to really nail the exit because it's really easy to wheel spin. So if I manage to have and then the perfect entry, then I can really have the steering straight for the exit, and it helps to avoid any kind of wheel spin or being on the edge with the traction. So then turning in when I see the sponsors on the wall on the left side, and then I'm gonna use all the track on the inside. You cannot cut too much the inside now because well there is a few seasons ago they changed the track limits. But now if I go a bit behind, basically I'm just gonna put the left wheels on the well I don't know if it's not really curbing, it's sort of curbing. Don't know how to call that to be honest, but just put your left wheels on it. And then on the right wheel, since it's important for the exit to try to avoid that, to have the best traction. And as you can see, on the exit, I'm not putting my right wheels on the last two curbs. That's what you have to avoid, to have the best traction possible, to not unsettle the car and make sure the car is the most stable possible. Like I said, to have the best traction possible, because with the AMG, I don't really know how behaves the others, but I'm sure that with the AMG is the best way to make this one. So you basically have to be a bit greedy on the inside, not too greedy, like I said, because it's really easy to get an off track or even a slowdown, I guess. But yeah, it's really important to stay away from the curb or what of that kind of curb with the right wheels. Otherwise, you can lose a bit of time and also maybe being pushed wide. So yeah, like I said, just avoid the curb with the right wheels, and you will be in the perfect racing line for the exit. So then, just trying to play a bit with the wall on the exit, just trying to avoid it as well, really close once again. And then we will move to a 90-degree left-hander. So for this one, I'm just gonna brake a tiny bit before the 200-meter board. I mean, I'm not sure if it's 200-meter, but the 200 board on the right side, just braking a bit before it. For this one, I prefer to brake a bit earlier because I don't want to have a massive being really wide on the exit, because then it means you have to put more steering to the left because you have to quickly go to the left to prepare the next 90-degree right-hander. So I prefer to stay a bit tighter on the exit, so then I'm a bit more comfortable for the next corner. So a bit earlier on the brakes, then turning in, releasing the brakes, getting really close to the inside wall, and then I'm just trying to stay a bit more tight, even if it's not completely tight. But like you can almost, if you brake a bit later, you can almost like really getting really close, going past really close of the wall. But I don't think it's the best thing to do because then you have more angle. You also have to carry the speed, the momentum on the exit, which means you have to put a lot of power, and more angle and more power means most of the time slides. So I prefer to stay a bit tighter. As you can see, I have almost not that much steering angle, so it means like I'm nearly almost full power. And then I'm just gonna quickly move to the left side because I need to prepare the next right-hander, which is right there. So basically, just putting almost the car on the wall, and then just gonna brake like maybe 2 meters or 3 meters before the 200-meter boards. And then I'm just gonna being close of like pretty much like the 200-meter board, like 2 or 3 meters before the 100-meter board. I will just turn in, releasing the brakes, find the rotation, getting close of the wall on the inside. And as you can see, I'm really early on power because I also need to find back the momentum and also because I need to find the rotation. And then once again, really close of the wall. Then you have the second longest straight of the track. And then we approach a really interesting corner. It's pretty much the same approach as the like the right hander with the curbing we saw just before. You also have to use the curbing on the inside. So as a braking reference, I'm gonna use the 400 boards on the left side, and I think I'm braking like 1 or 2 meters after. Yeah, basically just braking 1 or 2 meters after. Just trying to stay as long as I can on the left, close to the left wall, and then I will release the brakes. I will start to turn in, just aiming for the inside, just trying to put my left wheels on the curbing and try to avoid the curbing with my right wheels. So it's pretty much it's exactly the same approach actually than the one we saw before. Just avoid the curbing with your right wheels when you are close to the exit. So pretty much the same approach on the brakes, steering to the right, releasing the brakes, and then early on power to find the momentum. Then I'm not trying to really get close of the wall on the exit because the left hand and the next long left it's kind of long and it's also a bit slow. So for the next one, I need to quickly move to the middle of the track to prepare the entry. Maybe not the middle of the track, but the edge of the first half. Like it's pretty much the racing line you have to go or aim for the next corner. That's why I'm not trying to go really close of the wall. I'm trying to keep a bit of a margin, like maybe 2 meters away from the wall. So at least not like I'm not going fully on the left side of the right line if it's better for you. And then moving to almost the middle of the track. And then on the brakes, trying to find the rotation. Like it's just about not going too quick on the entries as well. Just trying to keep the momentum with the power. Just trying to stay as much as I can on the inside. And then for this one, it's really important to not carry too much speed on the entry because it's very easy to overshoot and because you have to put a massive steering angle, like way more than what you're used to do, to be honest. So for this one, just trying to brake a bit early and then just trying to find the rotation. For this one, it's really difficult to find the rotation out of the brake. So the main target there is to not carry too much speed because you will mainly rotate the car with the steering wheel. This time you cannot really use, like it's pretty much the opposite of what you are supposed to do usually. But this time you really have to like being a bit slower, I would say, because if you are too fast, you will just basically have no grip at the front. So just be a bit slow on the entry, so then you can make sure you will rotate the car out of the steering. But then the thing is pretty much the same for the exit. Like then you're gonna use the power to rotate the car. So it's pretty much the same approach as what you're doing usually, but for the entry it's a bit of the opposite because this time you have to mainly use the steering. So for this one, just trying to make sure I'm not entering fully inside because then it means like the exit will be really tricky. Gonna have to put like a huge steering angle. And then it means like if I have a huge steering angle, I will compromise the exit, which is unfortunate because then you have the longest straight of the racetrack. So I'm trying to go a bit wider on the entry. Then I'm trying to slow down the car as much as I can, as you can see on the brakes, but then I cannot slow down too much because I need to carry a bit of speed, obviously. And then a lot of steering. Then, as you can see, really aggressively on power because it helps me to find a bit the rotation. do not go completely flat out, because I think with the M4, and not only with the M4, but actually with almost every cars, you will get wheel spin. But you have to try and practice to find the right amount of power which helps you to actually rotate the car. But the thing there is to really use the power to rotate the car. And then, as you can see, just putting just straighten the wheel and then go fully on power, just trying to avoid the wall and have the best exit possible for that long straight. And yep, that's it for the lap around Long Beach with the M4 GT4. Okay, guys, that's it for today for the third week of the GT4 and LMP3 series. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned a bit from it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and also join the Discord if you have any questions about what we are doing. And yep, see you next time for week 4 of this series. See you next time. Bye bye.